I'm a private individual. I don't share my life with everybody. Doing a video blog is hard for me. It's hard for me to share the imperfect, messy parts of my life. But I have learned in the last year, since my daughter's been doing drugs, that there are so many parents out there that are lost. Like, they don't know how to help their kids. They don't know how, what to do. They don't want to give up, but you can't force them to get it right. You can't make them go to rehab and get it and give it up. And, statements that people say are so meaningless. Like, why are you doing that? Why are you putting poison in your blood? What, you're killing your lungs, you're killing yourself, you're destroying your organs. I'm sorry, that's the least of their worries. They're doing drugs to escape all of the shame and the helplessness that they feel, the pain, the regret, all of those feelings that they aren't good enough. Everybody who's ever told them they're not going to make it, or they can't make it, or they're worthless, or they're druggies, or, they should just die. They're carrying all of that baggage on their back and more, all of the mistakes that they've made, all of the horrible decisions that they've made. They know what they've done, but they need help. And we don't have words that can help them, but Life Changers does. I fully believe that. My daughter went to her grandmother's funeral. Hi. And I gave her a ride home, or so she thought, but we didn't go home. We drove 800 miles to a rehab facility, and she was willing. She was ready. She was tired. She'd been to 3 rehabs already, and it just hadn't worked for her. She continued to feel judged. She continued to want that drug. The longer that they do the drug, the harder it is for them to stop. And I know we hear that, but it actually changes the chemistry in their brain. And they can't think, they can't process. They're lost. And I'm sorry, I know this is a sop, mess of a video, but I hope this is the only time that this happens. I hope this is the last time. I hope that this is what she needs. She told me on the way down, it was supposed to be 11.5-hour drive, and it was. We made good time, but we had to stop because we left the funeral. She didn't have anything with her. She didn't have clothes. She didn't have nothing. So we had to stop and get everything, which thankfully to my son and what little bit of money she had in her account, we were able to do that. She left her job behind. She left her kids with me, which I've had them for the last year anyways, because of everything that's been going on. But she told me on the way down that, you know what, she's like, I just don't have a foundation. And I'm like, you know what, I know you never have, and I don't understand why. You were raised in the church, you were raised in a Christian environment, you were sent to Christian school, but there was just always something missing for her, something down deep in her soul, as a little girl even. And Life Changers, they're going to help her find that, because it's a Christian-based facility. It's a year-long program, and she's willing, she's ready. But I will tell you, there are people, there are testimonies out there, hundreds of them, that they were court ordered to go here, and they came out successfully drug-free. Several years later, they're still drug-free. They have a new grasp on life. They're giving them the tools that they need to stay strong. Does it mean they're going to be perfect? No, none of us are perfect. And they have a terribly hard journey to get where they need to be. So I'm leaving. I am on my way home now. It's been an emotional journey. It's been a peaceful journey. As hard as it is to believe, she was at peace. I mean, she was nervous because, you know, she's not going to have a cigarette again for, well, hopefully ever. That's the goal. And that she's going to be able to be healthy and at peace in her mind and her soul with the Lord. So I will probably continue to post on this journey. I'm going to come back and see her every month and bring her kids as often as I can. They're both autistic. Her daughter's 4, beautiful. She was nonverbal up until about 6 months ago. And now she's thriving. She's been diagnosed and has therapy. And, you know, by the time that she's expected to be a teenager, they estimate that she will be classified as Asperger's, or she may not be on the spectrum at all, depending on her neurological disability and how therapy works. Now her brother is 2, and he is on the spectrum as well. We are waiting for his proper diagnosis from Children's Mercy, but he was evaluated, and his developmental capabilities are, like, verbal is 3 months, I think, cognitive maybe 8 months, and you know, I mean, everything is under a year old for him. I mean, he does walk and talk, and he has fun, and we have a lot of fun with him. He's got a good personality, but he doesn't talk, and so he's going to start therapy next week with that, and I think that he's going to grow leaps and bounds just like Aubrey did, and it's going to be really fast. So this next year, with their mom being at Life Changers, changing her life to make a better life for them, there's going to be a lot of changes in our lives with her being gone, and I'm gonna do my best to make a video so that she can watch it and she can feel like she can experience it, and hopefully to help other people who notice that there's maybe developmental changes or barriers with their children, and maybe they can see some things in my grandkids or in our experience that will help them. I have had very close friends of mine that said, why does it matter? Why do you need a diagnosis? And to be honest, it's to get them the therapy that they need. If you can get a child that is on the spectrum diagnosed and get them proper therapy early, they have like a 80 or 90% likelihood of not being on the spectrum when they're an adult. And not that it's bad to be on the spectrum. There's nothing wrong with that. I believe that when I was a little kid, I had a lot of problems. They thought it was medical because I was born with a liver disease of unknown origin, but and I had fevers. I was in the hospital off and on for the first 3 years of my life. But you know, I was withdrawn. I wouldn't talk. I mean, I wasn't nonverbal, but I wouldn't talk to people. I was very shy of people. Didn't want to be around them. Sometimes wouldn't even talk to my own dad, which I love dearly. Mom helped, and, you know, I think Mom stepped in and probably gave me the types of therapy as best as she could that helped me overcome that. She put me in therapy, so, you know, through a therapist, I did get therapy, and I overcame a lot of that. And, you know, that helped me become the person I am today. But if you don't seek out that help, and they go to school and they're behind and they're struggling, then it starts that path of, I'm not good enough. And I didn't want my kids to feel that way. I mean, obviously their mom did, and she had learning disabilities and stuff. And I'm not saying that's why she used drugs, but I'm saying it didn't help. She didn't feel included and accepted at school. And it was because she had dyslexia and she had learning disabilities. And she constantly felt like
she had to hide that and mask that, and that sometimes would come off as an attitude or something. And as you know, most parents that I think have a child of some sort of special needs, even if it's just ADD or something, you know, I think these children are being taught that they just need to fake it until they make it. And the thing of it is they're faking it, but they're not making it. They're turning into teenagers that are turning to drugs. They're turning into adults that are full-blown addicts. You know, and not all of them, and don't get me wrong, I don't think that everybody that has a disability or everybody that has ADD or that has any kind of, you know, learning disability or social disability or anything like that is going to be a drug addict. But I'm telling you that you have more drug addicts that do have a disability or do have a mental illness or something that separates them from the general public that makes them feel like they're not normal, they're not included, they're not accepted. And that separation and the level of not feeling good enough is what drives them to the people that are ever so willing to sell them drugs to take them to the next step. You know, they say that marijuana is not a bad drug. Maybe it's not, but they also say it's the gateway to more drugs. And I have to say that I agree to that. And I say that because I've seen it with my daughter. You know, she did smoke pot. I heard that she was given pot at as early as 8 to 10 years old. I heard that she advanced up to meth by, I think it was 12. I think the person that first gave her meth, I think she was 10. This happened in a small town on visitations when she would go and visit with her dad. So that drug gateway to be accepted and to let go of the pain and to not have to face all of the problems and the anxiety that came in her life was casually used from a very young age. I did not know that. My eyes have been open to things that parents wouldn't want to know, ever. I want to know because I can't help her if I don't. But I don't judge her because of that. I don't blame her. We make choices, you know. Sometimes they're not good choices. Sometimes they're reckless and dangerous, and they hurt us and they hurt other people. They hurt the people we love. That's all true, you know. Nothing new. I think we all know that. But if I don't have all the facts, I can't help her. And now I have all the facts, and I made a drastic move, just took off, you know. I had her in my car, and I wasn't going to stop until she was somewhere safe. And she went to the emergency room twice this week. Once by ambulance because she stopped breathing. The second one was because I don't know that I'm ready to share that part yet, but she went twice, and they didn't keep her. They didn't keep her for a psych eval, or they didn't keep her for being suicidal, but she was. And our system is broken. I can't tell you the number of law enforcement agencies I have worked with in this last year. I mean, there's got to be at least 12 to 15. And I have to tell you, as a parent, if your child is doing drugs, if you suspect your child is doing drugs, call the cops. You know, you've got to get them in the system, because if you don't, if you just
sweep this under the rug. And if you're like, you know what, they're gonna get it, they're gonna get help, or this is just a teenage phase, or this is just a young dumb kid phase. It's not a dumb kid phase. It's a life change, and it could end their life. So whose life do you want to be changed forever? Theirs, and still have them in your life, or yours because they're gone? You need to take action. You need to work with your law enforcement agencies, you know, because that's what's going to help save your life. And you're going to find that your hands are tied. Like, I worked with like 15 different law enforcement agencies. I contacted DEA. I contacted everybody. I knew I was in the middle of everything that she was doing. I knew who she was with. You know, I was that nosy mom. I mean, it helped that I had some private investigation background. But when it came down to it, I couldn't save her from herself. And I knew that. But at least I wanted to know where she was. I wanted to know if she died, where she was. You know, I wanted to bring her home. I didn't want her to be gone forever and lost and not know, you know, whatever happened to her. And this has only been a year of our lives. 1 year. People do this for 10 and 20, you know, or longer. But I don't think, I know in my heart, she wouldn't have lasted much longer. I have a diesel that's trying to run me over here. So I was able to take the drastic measure, and I hope that in this year that I'm going to be vlogging, that I have good reports. And I'm sure there's going to be up and downs. You can't just stay on a good note forever. You know, life changes, but it's temporary. And that's one thing I would tell her all the time is this is temporary. Whatever you're feeling right now, it's temporary. It's going to pass. You know, there's going to be good days. You just have to hang on to them and hope. Don't lose your hope. Don't lose your faith. And she had, you know, she had given up a few times. And the demons were, you know, telling her, and I hope I don't offend anybody by saying that, but whether you believe it's the drugs or demons or spiritual world or whatever, they were telling her if she cuts her veins open, she can't shoot up anymore. That's true, because she'd be dead. So, get your people help. Put them in a psych evaluation. Have them held for, you know, however long your place will hold them. But do something, because if you do nothing, you won't be struggling on that road anymore. You won't be wondering, because they'll be dead. They'll be gone. You'll have memories, but you're not going to be able to focus on the good ones. So get them help. Try your best. If it doesn't work out, if they lose their life, then you did everything you can. And we got to find peace in that, you know. But this is my journey, and it's messy. It's not the image I would want to project for myself. That's not the way I roll. But it's real. It's life. And we're going to make it through it.